don't hate me, but I don't know. Let's just talk about some thoughts. Just gonna share some more thoughts. I just finished class, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of share some of my thoughts I had with my therapist yesterday about music. Also, I'm getting some McDonald's, so don't hate me. Okay, whew, that's good. So, I've been feeling insecure about my music. One of my friends in our class, she encouraged me to apply for this program in Siena, Italy. It's like a film composing program. It's like 3 weeks long, and the deadline for the application is in like a month and a little bit. And I'm like, I'd love to do it, you know. It'd be so sick. Go to Siena, go visit, you know. I feel like I have a calling to Italy, and like, you know, go there and learn from there, you know. And so I looked at the requirements, and it looks like they require 3 cues and 1 orchestration, you know, full orchestration score. And you know, I feel like it's doable for me, but it made me realize that I haven't really gotten I don't have a lot of cue writing experience. Like, I haven't really scored a lot. So she was showing me some of the stuff that she did, and she's been very nice about it, and she's like showing me how to do it, and I was asking her all these questions. But like, I don't know, like, first off, like, it made me realize there's a lot I still haven't learned yet, and I'm still like, I still feel like a newbie, which is okay, nothing wrong with that. But then like, I went back and home, and I started working on it and trying to make my own like music to cues, because I don't have like much to show. And it made me realize I actually don't really know what I'm doing as much. So I started watching some YouTube videos, and I tried it out, but to be honest, it just sounded like shit. Like, it just sounded bad. And then it started sounding generic, and I started like writing stuff that I was like, this is what I think would sound good, or that others would say it sounds good. But then, long story short, I had this whole like kind of like spiral moment where I was just like losing confidence in the whole thing, and I was like, am I even supposed to be in like a film composing? Like, what am I doing? And I was just really bummed out by it. And I had a, you know, therapy session with ChatGPT and Claude, and that was helpful. But then I talked to my actual therapist about it yesterday, and was like, you know, this has really been bumming me out, and I feel like it has something to do with my worthiness, because I don't feel good enough, you know. And I just kind of want to share some of those thoughts I had, or discussions that we had yesterday. Basically, like, I was just telling him that like, it makes me not feel good enough, and I guess at a deeper level, it makes me feel like, yeah, I feel not worthy when it comes to music. And a big goal of mine is I want to leave a legacy. Like, I want to, like, I look up to people that like changed the game. Like, you know, like, I look up to like, you know, just musicians or artists, or just human beings that did something so radically different, you know, in a positive way, of course. And like, that it's just like, they changed the game, they forged their own path. And I want to be like that. I want to be one of the greats. And it's probably narcissistic to say that so loudly, but I have to be honest, like, that's how I feel. Like, I want to do that because I love to read about these people and learn from these people, you know, in our classes and our textbooks and stuff. I'd love to be one of those people. And I guess what he was kind of telling me is, like, when I use that as my like framework, as like of how I'm making my music, I'm kind of setting myself up for failure. Like if my goal is something external, then I'm like, I'm not, it's not, it's like I'm leaning into that false self. Like I'm looking for something external to fill that internal problem, right? The internal problem being that I don't feel good enough. So the external validation says, well, you know, you need to be the greatest of all time in order to show everyone that you are in fact good enough, right? When in fact, that's not how you gain that good enough. It comes from internal, not external things. You know, not from fame, not from money, not from recognition. And, you know, I recognized that when I found out about this opportunity, and when my classmate showed me like her work, which was so good, it went from something internal, like a true self, to a false self, like very subtly. Like the way that happened was, like the true self was like, this sounds like an exciting opportunity for me. You know, I've identified through therapy and just like, you know, reflection and journaling and stuff like that, that my true value, the thing that is core to me that makes me worthy when it comes to music, or just worthiness in general, is that I like to write music. Like that is something that is a core tenet for me. That's something that I truly, that's just in me, that no one can take. And that's something that, like, whether I have 1 million followers or 1 follower, you know, it doesn't change the fact that I feel worthy when I'm making music that is meaningful to me. You know, writing music that is beautiful and good, you know, and important to me. When I'm going so inward that I'm making something that's like this is me. This is an extension of me, you know. But I feel, and so when I heard about this opportunity to go to Italy, it curated to that. It was in service to that. It's like, yes, I get to make even more beautiful music. I get to work with, you know, Italian musicians who look at music in an entirely different way. You know, this is in service of bringing that out. So that was why it felt so fulfilling at first. But then when I saw her stuff, it brought out this insecurity in me of, oh, I'm not good enough. And then that's when I started shifting into that false self of, oh shit, now I'm not good enough, because her stuff was so good and I don't feel like I'm at that level yet. I've started acting out of a place of fear now. Like, oh shit, like now I gotta like make music that's like at her level, and gotta make music that's like that they will like. And so I started writing these cues, like trying to like watch YouTube videos of like writing these cues of like what I thought they would want to hear, and trying to emulate, and like kind of in a way not respecting the fact that I am actually still a beginner when it comes to film composing. I'm, you know, so it's like I have to respect that I am a beginner, and you know, I am limited in what I know, and that's okay to meet myself where I am. But I didn't do that. Instead, I, you know, put this whole weight on my shoulder of like, oh, I need to be this like grand film composer that's writing this, and this. But it's like, I'm not there yet, you know? And so because of that, because I was leaning so far to that false self of being like, oh, I need to be this grand musician that's like writing these beautiful things, you know, I'm comparing my level 1 to her level 20. No, it makes sense that I like burnt out and I crashed out, and you know, I had a collapse of self, you know, collapse of self, not physically. And so because of that, you know, I was telling my therapist, like, okay, like, so I have to go back to that. I have to always go back to the true self, you know? I have to go back to that true self. And hold this thought for a second. I am at McDonald's and I'm gonna order some food. So give me 1 second. How's it going?
Hello, can I get your order?
Yes, could I get a Big Mac combo, please?
Medium or large?
Can I just make it medium?
And the drink is?
Could I get a Diet Coke with no ice?
Diet Coke, no ice. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, let's make a placement for you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Don't judge me. I'm only human. But yeah, so it was just like, I don't know, it was just crazy. So I was just telling him that, like, basically yeah, I think I was acting from a place of false self, and that's why I had this collapse. And so I was telling him that, like, well, there's that part of me that like wants to like leave a recognition and you know, have like success in that way. Give me another second, sorry. Yes. There you go. Thank you so much. Okay. We'll keep talking about this. Just gonna get my food first, cause I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Damn, girl. I just want a Diet Coke, please. One Diet Coke. Oh, thank you so much. Could I possibly get like a barbecue sauce as well?
I'm going to get you for this time, but we're charging for the sauce.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's do it. So, anyways, I was telling him that, yeah, I would love to leave a legacy, right? I would love to leave a legacy and be this like person that's like, you know, important, you know? And he kind of made me realize that that's that false self holding on to it, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to leave a legacy or wanting these good things for me, right? But that can't be the driving force of it. He said it's the same thing as if I'm like trying to build confidence. You don't make confidence the goal, because when you want to be confident, you can pretend it like you're confident. Like, I'm gonna do these things that make me look confident, but that's only like an outer shell. Inside, you're still truly not confident. So what you do is you do things that are worthy. You do things that are, you know, you love yourself. You do things that are true to yourself, and by nourishing that or nurturing that, a byproduct of it is that confidence. So you're more likely to actually build genuine confidence from nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself and loving yourself than if you're trying to aim for that confidence, right? So that's like a byproduct. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like you don't aim for success. You don't aim for fame, for money, for you know, validation, you know, for this recognition. I want to be this legend and stuff like that. You don't aim for that stuff. These are all byproducts of it, you know. And he was saying that like if you aim for it, it's just like that outer shell, like it's hollow, you know. It's hollow. It's like it's something that's fickle. It's something that's like can change at any moment. So you can't make your worth dependent on that. So he was telling me what I need to do is hone in on my true self as much as possible. So, in other words, let go of the idea of I need to be famous. Let go of this idea of I need to have money to prove that I'm worthy with my music. I have to let go of these ideas that I need this recognition. So, I'll be honest, it's hard, because I keep feeling like in my head it's like if I let go of this, like then I'm gonna like I feel like I'm giving a part of myself away, like, so I'm just gonna be a musician that's never seen, like my music is just for nothing, like, you know. And I feel scared about it. But he was telling me like only by letting go can I finally truly get like the true fruits of it. And in other words, I have to be okay with whether I make it or not, as leaving, like being popular or leaving like a legacy, you know. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining myself right. Like when I let go of the idea, the true worthiness comes in the process of doing it. The true worthiness comes from me just making something that's authentically me, you know, really honing in on the things that are true, that no one can take from me, you know? Things like, I like to write music, and I want to write the best music that is true for me, you know? I don't want to follow trends, and I mean, there are certain things I can learn from trends and stuff like that, but like, that's not what I want. Like, I want to make something that's so authentically me, that's like an extension of me, you know? It's like, you know, you like when you hear a certain piece of music that's just so authentically somebody, like, it's just, to me, it's very beautiful. So it's someone that's gone so inward that they're able to kind of it reflects outward towards other people. And it's funny, and he was saying, like, and actually it's funny, like, the more inwards you go, actually you're more likely to end up as a byproduct getting those things, you know, like getting, like, the money will eventually come, or the fame or the recognition will come. But he said that, but the important thing is it's not what you aim for, because you can't make it your goal. Like, you have to be okay also, I have to be okay also if that never ends up happening. Like, I had to find the joy and the fulfillment in the fact of, like, the process of it, right? Like, because I love music so much that I'm gonna do anything to serve that, you know? So the reason why I find so much fulfillment in taking these classes is because I'm serving that. I'm learning how to make my music more authentically me. You know, the reason I'm getting so much fulfillment from being vulnerable is because I'm becoming more and more comfortable being me, like my honest, raw self. You know, the reason I love therapy is because it's the same thing. It's like opening me up where I'm like being authentically myself. It's all in service to, like, this, like, authentic, true self version of me, and not this, like, false external version of me. And so, you know, it's hard for me. It's hard for me. I have a hard time letting go of this idea of not wanting to leave a legacy or not wanting to be famous. You know, I mean, like, it's just something that, like, I've wanted for so long, and I feel like that's the only way I'll ever find fulfillment. You know, it's like, I'll only find fulfillment once I get famous, or I get recognition, or I not necessarily get, like, all the acclaims, like win an Oscar and all that stuff, which I would like, but, like, you know, once I finally, like, I don't know, like, this, like, once I'm, like, finally X amount of success, like, I don't know. But the thing is, it's like, that's all external stuff. And I have to be able to, he's saying, like, I have to be able to find that fulfillment in just doing it. Like, you know, like, I have to find fulfillment in, like, the small things, like small and big, I guess, but, like, the things that are fulfilling, or, again, going towards fulfilling that desire of just writing the best music I can, being most vulnerable to me, you know, so in service to it. So, like, that's why when I heard about this program, it started from a true place, because it is servicing that true value of, like, yeah, I'll be able to actually, you know, make myself a better musician, and I'll be able to actually find my voice more, and, like, you know, it's exciting for me. I'm exploring more. That's the beautiful part. I don't have to worry about where is this gonna take me, how am I gonna financially monetize this, how am I gonna make a career out of this. These are all these external things that, like, that don't define my worth. It's about making something that's truly me, making art that's truly me. That's where the true fulfillment goes, whether one person or a million people see it. But again, that's the hard part, is trying to let go of that idea, because the idea of making something so authentically me and then nobody seeing it is scary to me. Even if that makes it even more likely. The funny part is that will probably be the thing that makes it more likely for me to actually end up getting those things that I want, like as a byproduct. I look at also like dating, you know, when you're like single and you're like desperate and you're like, man, I gotta find a girlfriend, like your goal is this like external thing of like, I need to find this relationship, like this relationship is gonna make me whole, like I'm not gonna feel good until I find this relationship. You like kind of like are like throwing out this like desperate energy that like people can kind of just feel, and it just like kind of turns them off. But then once you kind of like do the opposite and you kind of like focus inward and start focusing on like, you know what, I'm just gonna enjoy my life, you know, like it'd be nice to get into a relationship, and I'll set myself up for success, you know, like I'm not gonna like, you know, like I might still like sign up for things where I can find people to meet and stuff like that, but the goal is never like I have to find someone. Like I'm content either way. Like if I meet someone, that'd be great, but I'm also content if I don't meet somebody. And it's usually in those moments where actually you end up finding those meaningful relationships. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like the more I'm like, oh, I need the success, I need this like fame and like stuff like that, I'm putting out this energy of like desperateness, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. But then once it's like I like look inward and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on my craft. I'm just gonna make what sounds good to me, what makes me happy, what fulfills me, you know, what is great to me. And yeah, and I have to be okay with like, okay, if it doesn't find its audience, that's fine, you know, but it makes me happy. I'm happy. And you know, I don't want to focus too much on it, but like I guess like usually like when that happens, that's actually when those byproducts of it, like that's actually when you do end up finding your true audience. Like you're not finding a false audience of like, you know, I'm not chasing this clout and stuff. It's like you find people that truly like your music and stuff. The hard part though is trying to it's just trying to let go, because I'm having a hard time letting go, because I keep feeling like once I let go, I'm like giving I'm giving a value of myself, a belief of myself, and I'm like, it's gone. Like, and I feel in a way kind of a collapse, like man, like, so this is it. I'm living my life now, and I'm gonna keep working towards something, but it doesn't matter if I become famous or if I leave a legacy at the end of the day. You know, if I have to be okay with, okay, I could just be another Joe Schmo, literally. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow. And yeah, I know it sounds narcissistic as fuck, but I just want to be honest with you. These are the thoughts that go inside my head. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be better. I want to live a more fulfilling life. And I believe that the only way to live a more fulfilling life is to be honest with yourself. Like, I can't be honest with other people if I'm not honest with myself first. So, yeah, even though it's not the most glamorous thing, I mean, that's honestly how I feel. I feel like there's like this narcissistic thing. And my therapist says it's like a narcissistic pathology. It's not like NPD where I'm like full on narcissistic, but it's like, he says I have traits, like I've developed some traits more than the average person because of these, like, he calls them like traumas and stuff, like these traumas of like when I was younger of not feeling good enough. So they're like these protection mechanisms of me feeling like, well, the only way for me to make myself feel better is I have to kind of go the opposite way. Like, okay, I'm not good enough in music. Okay, I gotta like be the top of the top. I gotta be the most successful musician ever, right? It's like I'm trying to use an external thing to fulfill like an internal wound. you know, the same thing happens with dating. Like I got rejected a lot when I was younger, and it's like, okay, well I got rejected now. Okay, so now when I get older, I gotta date like the hottest, the most successful, like the prettiest girl of all time. Like I'm gonna show you all, like you're all gonna be jealous of me. Like you're gonna see this girl on by my side, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, like I can't believe Joe landed her. Like I should have never rejected him. Like it sounds childish, and that's because it is. Like these are like wounds from when I was like a teenager, you know? And it's only now that I've like been like kind of facing those wounds and learning to try to like, you know, sit with them and work through them, instead of having these like outer external false self layers of like me trying to like, you know, protect myself and be like, no, I don't want to feel that vulnerability. Like, no, I'm allowing myself to actually look at that ugly vulnerability, the not good enough feeling, and actually try to work through it. And I think I've been doing a good job. I've been doing a lot better. I mean, I'm in a very healthy relationship right now, and I'm very grateful for Tia. I really am. She's so kind. And you know, I don't know, I think I use a lot. I mean, I'm still working on myself, and I'm still trying to be the best version of myself. So, I mean, I'm not perfect, obviously, but I've come a long way, especially in relationships and stuff. And, you know, I'm able to identify certain things like that I've done in past relationships where like I might like lean into the false self, you know, like comparing my relationship to other people's relationships or other people, or like in my head like devaluing women that make me feel insecure about myself, even if they haven't done anything. You know, like a big one was like, that still comes up from time to time, is like if I find someone attractive, like, you know, like if you see someone I find them attractive, like a thing that happens is like, you know, people just find people attractive all the time, right? It's just a feeling, right? You see someone like, oh, they're attractive, but then it triggers something in me where it's like, oh, like remember when you're in high school and you found, you know, some girls attractive, and remember how they rejected you, and how now you feel like you're never good enough for girls like that. So then all these like thoughts come in my head, like, and these are like really subconscious thoughts, like that girl, like, yeah, that girl would be someone that would hurt you, like that girl would be someone that make you feel insecure. And like they start, like these insecurities start coming up, like these vulnerabilities of like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, and this is just by seeing someone, like they haven't said a single word, I haven't even talked to them, like just by seeing someone, like, oh no, like this girl is like someone that would hurt me, like it's like a threat in a way. It's like they're gonna hurt me and stuff like that, you know, emotionally hurt me, right? And then what my mind would do, this is where the narcissistic pathology starts to play in, is to protect me from that vulnerability. So instead of sitting with that vulnerability, it starts to devalue her. Oh yeah, I mean, like my head will start saying stuff like, or that small little voice will start saying stuff like, oh, like, I bet she's probably like a really mean person. Or I bet, like, you know, like, oh, you know, she's not that pretty, really. Like, if you really look at her, like, she's not like that pretty. Or you know, in like 10 years, she's like not gonna look that pretty, you know. Like, or I've dated girls that are more attractive than her. Like, literally, like that little voice will kind of just like be saying these things all like in my like subconscious mind, and this will happen all in like a split second. And before, I always thought like, oh, this is just me, like, and I would get that a lot in relationships. You know, I'd be in a relationship and I'd find problems with my partner, like, oh, like this one thing I don't really like about her, you know, and I'll compare her to like someone else, and I'll be like, this other person is like this like perfect person. Like in my mind, I'll be like, why does my partner not have these qualities that this other person that has, like, is like in my head, like I've like made like this like person, this is perfect person. And so I start devaluing my partner in my head, and then to the point where I'm like, oh, the reason I'm thinking these things, or the reason I'm feeling these things, is because I must be in the wrong relationship. But then after a while I realize, hold up, like, this keeps happening over and over again. I think I'm the common denominator here. And, you know, through therapy, like, thank God, like, my therapist has, like, helped me point out those specific things. Like, he made me like he makes me really sit down and like call out that little, like, he calls it like the little small voice. Like, there's like my thoughts, and there's that little small voice in your head, that like the one that you really like kind of like have to listen to, that like will kind of like try to like, you know, whisper certain things, you know, like, oh, like, you're like, you deserve better than her, like, you know, that girl isn't good enough for you, like these like things that are like trying to like protect me. And he's like, you gotta, he's helped me like call it out for what that little voice is saying, and try to identify that as like basically like a separate voice. Like, this is that separate narcissistic pathology voice that's like trying to like protect me from my vulnerability. And instead I'm supposed to like face my vulnerability. So when I find myself, like, let's say like I catch myself devaluing, you know, my partner, like I find myself like, you know, that little voice is kind of like devaluing, I gotta kind of in a way call it out and be like, okay, I'm devaluing my, you know, my little voice is devaluing my partner because something made me feel insecure, and because of that insecurity, this little voice made me start all of a sudden have to like feel like I have to protect myself. But what I have to do now is like go into the true cause of it. What is my true self saying? Is, well, it's saying, I don't feel worthy, I don't feel good enough. That's what that vulnerability is. I don't feel good enough. So then what I have to do is I have to actually do something that's worthy, something. So instead of using a false self, like this external of like, oh, I'm gonna devalue her to make myself feel good, you know, or you know what, I need to break up with her and date some other girl because this girl's making me feel all these like weird feelings and stuff like that. Like, that's like external things. Instead, it's like, no, I need to do something that's worthy. What is something that's worthy? And like, I guess in relationships, you know, he's told me that like, it's vulnerability. Like, that's something worthy, you know, like, is being vulnerable with my partner. You know, so with Tia, like when I find myself in those moments, instead of like running to like the false self and doing these external things, I recognize that as this is something where my true self is looking for vulnerability. And vulnerability can come in multiple different ways. It doesn't have to be like I'm like confessing and opening up and all this stuff to her. It doesn't have to be like that. It could literally be as simple as like, I don't know, he told me you'll know in the moment what's like vulnerable. Like, I remember like one time it was like listening, like, it was like listening to a book that Tia recommended for me. You know, that was a form of vulnerability for me. It's like she wasn't even here, but it's like it was a way for me to like, in a way, kind of like open myself up more for Tia. It's like, no, I want to value this relationship, and I want to, you know, I want to listen to this book that she recommended to me. You know, and so it's like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna lean into this. It's bringing us more vulnerable towards each other, because it's like I'm not, you know, the external thing that I could have, the false self thing I could have done is be like, oh no, like I'm not gonna listen to this book, because if I listen to it, then it's like I'm connecting myself too much to her, and I don't want, if I get too invested in her and then she hurts me, then I'm gonna like, you know, it's gonna hurt me. But instead it's like, no, like I want to open that up. I want to be more vulnerable with her. I want this, you know. And the beautiful thing is, I mean, two beautiful things. First thing is, Tia has made it such a safe space for me to be vulnerable, and I'm able to open up these things I'm sharing with you. I'm able to share with her, and she makes me feel so seen and feel so safe. I don't feel judged, and I feel seen, and I feel loved, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for her because of that. And it's just amazing. And then it allows me to kind of shed away some of those false selves and allow me to actually have a truly vulnerable and more intimate relationship. So I've been working on this for my for my relationship, and now I think it's time for me to start doing it with my music. You know, I'm still working of course on it with my relationship, but I think it's time for me now to also pick up these things for my music, you know. Stop leaning into the false self and lean into the true self of, like, you know, when I feel like I'm feeling, you know, even today, you know, another classmate of mine was showing me some work that he did from another class, and I was like, damn, like he was writing for a cue for like this like scene and stuff like that, and I was like, I started feeling this insecurity again, like, oh, I'm not good enough for that, like, you know. But then I have to ask myself, like, in that moment, instead of acting from a place of fear and trying to devalue him or his music, or trying to like somehow like work from a place of like false self, where it's like, oh, now I gotta write music that's like his music, like I'm trying to attain like his stuff or his like his worthiness in a way. It's like I see he's got something worthy, so I'm gonna copy him and stuff like that. It's like, no. I have to the word I'm looking. I don't feel good enough, and so I'm looking for something truly worthy. So I have to do something worthy, and in music, what that means is making music that's authentic to me, leaning into the authenticity, meeting myself where I am, accepting this fact that I am still new to film composing, and I'm gonna meet myself where I am. You know, be honest with that. You know, be gentle with myself. You know, continue to write what's authentic to me. Don't just follow like, oh, this is, you know, I'm just copying him because I want to copy him because I see he's got something good. No, it's like, yes, if there's certain things that resonate with me, then yes, of course, I can use them in my music and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, I gotta make something that's like me, and I gotta make something that's like true for me, and that is where the true worthiness comes from. And whether I get into this program or not is not going to determine that worthiness. Whether I leave a legacy or not, that will not determine this worthiness. It's about making these true authentic music, being able to be vulnerable with my music. And I'm practicing this vulnerability by posting these kind of videos, because I have a hard time being vulnerable and I want to get better. So that's why I'm making these videos, because I just want to, I want to document my progress so I can look back on it and be like, oh, this is where I was in this moment. It's like a video diary. And B, it's like I'm practicing just being open and honest and exposing myself, you know, and not trying to attain this like false version of myself, but really attain a true version of who I am. You know, I think it's important that I'm able to find that. And my food is getting cold, but this was a nice conversation with myself. So this was a drink, by the way, from Kava, which I got earlier today. And now I'm gonna have a Diet Coke. I think there's something wrong with me. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyways, I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna watch some Office, eat my McDonald's, and I don't know, I'm just grateful that I was able to open up, because it feels like this is like kind of like what I was saying about the relationship stuff. Like, this feels like the truest way for me to actually feel fulfillment, because the fruits of what's come from opening up and being vulnerable and, like, you know, allowing myself to kind of go there with Tia has been nothing but a blessing. Just amazing. I really love her. And I'm grateful for her. And yeah, I'm just very grateful. And I don't think I would have gotten there if I continued with that, you know, these narcissist pathology of like defending myself and protecting myself. I think by being vulnerable, it allowed me to finally get there. And I think that's what my therapist was saying. Like, these things are only possible once you kind of like allow yourself to get there. And so it's scary, but I'm also excited to just give myself the grace to just exist as a musician, you know? Just be, you know, make myself, or make music that's true. And I guess just let go. I'm having a hard time letting go of the external stuff. I have my mom's voice in my head, like telling me, like, have you made money off of music yet? Like, I'm feeling like it's not worthy until I've made money with my music. Or, you know, like, I'm thinking of like this like restaurant I used to play gigs at, and they like didn't want me to come back because I couldn't bring enough of a crowd in. And that really stung, because it made me feel not good enough. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. My music is not good enough. It's only good enough if I bring people in. I'm only good enough if there's people that want to listen. It's not about the music. It's about, can this bring a profit? Can this entertain and bring a profit for the restaurant? And so I have that voice in my head as well. It's like, I'm only worthy once I get popular, once I win a Grammy, once I win an Oscar, once I'll show you. But the worthiness comes from the act itself. Anyways, till next time, take care.